What's up, everybody? Welcome back for another video. Today you see we've got the Fossil here loaded up in the race trailer behind me, and that is because we have to go get the chassis recertified on the truck today. Chassis recerts are only good for 3 years, and our time is up. So in order to be able to compete in sanctioned body events like ODSS, we have to get the chassis recertified by an NHRA inspector. My local speed shop, Instant Karma Racing, they do a chassis recert day for the community every year. It makes it really nice because it's just a one-time fee of $170 to get it done. Otherwise, you have to pay the inspector to come to you, pay for time and mileage, and it's quite a bit more expensive. So it's just something that they do to kind of give back to the community every year. And we're going to take advantage of that and go get the chassis recertified on this thing today. I want to show you guys what goes into a chassis certification, so that way when you guys are building your trucks and your chassis, you know what the inspector is going to look for and you know what needs to be right about it. So I'm going to jump in the truck here and head that way, and we'll turn the camera back on when we get there. All right, so I have made it here. We are in line right now. There's a few trailers in front of us. So once we get the call to pull up, I'll get this thing unloaded and get this thing checked out. In the meantime, I'm gonna go inside here in the shop and try to snag some shots of some race cars that are in here. So stick around. From chassis cert. Unfortunately, I did not have the time to get a video with Travis, the chassis inspector. They have a lot of appointments and they run that like a well-oiled machine, and it's get it in, get it out, go, go, go. But I was able to take notes of all of the things that he checked, so I can take you guys to the truck and show you what a chassis inspector is going to inspect. This is going to be specifically to an 850 cage. When you get into the 25.6, 25.5, 25.4s, it's more in-depth. And when we do Newman's chassis, we'll actually have Travis all to ourselves when we do that. And I'll get you guys a video talking with Travis, the actual NHRA inspector, and showing you guys exactly what all has to be done for those more complex cages. But these 850 cages, they're a lot simpler, and I think it's something that I can easily show you guys. So let's go over to the truck and take a look at what you need to know that's important for getting an 850 cert. So if you're not familiar with an 850 cert, that is the same thing as a 10-point roll cage. And 10 points means that it attaches to the frame in 10 different points. So you have front down bars that attach, so that's 2 points there. You have a main hoop that attaches, that's 2 points, that'd be 4. You have rear down bars that attach to the frame, that is another 2 points. And then you'll have rocker bars as well, and then these two kick down bars here. So you end up with a 10-point cage. This allows you to go 850 in the quarter or 535 in the eighth. This can be made out of mild steel or chromoly. If you're doing mild steel, if it's electric weld, it has to be 136 wall, I do believe. If it's DOM mild steel, then it can be 120 wall, and then if it's chromoly, it can be 083. My particular truck here is all mild steel, so it's all MIG welded. if you do chromoly, you do have to TIG weld. You would think that the welds of the cage would be something that they look at very closely, and it's actually not on an 850. They don't really get into paying attention to the welds until you get into those faster certs, the 750 and quicker type stuff. So mainly when he comes in here and looks at this cage, first thing he's going to do is pop open this driver's side door. He's going to look at this door bar. He's going to check and make sure that it's an 1 5/8" tube. He's going to put a little ultrasound meter on it and make sure that it is the correct wall thickness per the material. He's going to look and make sure that this front down bar attaches to the frame, and he's going to make sure the main hoop attaches to the frame. And then, like I said, you have to have a rocker bar here. If you don't have the rocker bar here, you can do it under the rocker there. It doesn't really matter as long as that attaches to the frame. The bar behind the seat here can be a smaller diameter. This one is actually 1 1/4", so he checks that to make sure that that is 1 1/4". And then the big thing that you have to know is the rear down bar angle has to be no more than 30 degrees from vertical and 30 degrees from horizontal. So if it's like 25 degrees, it will not cert. When this cage was originally built, this didn't have the correct amount of angle to it, and so we were allowed to put this other triangulated angle brace in here, and that allowed us to get the 850 cert, because that tube basically where it lands in the floor, it's not back far enough, so you can't get enough angle on it. And it's just the way that this truck worked out. There was nowhere further back to put the tube, the actual cross tube underneath that ties to. But because we were able to tie into our back half here, that makes us legal. So that's very important if you guys are building 850 certs. But other than that, that's pretty much all that they look for on the tubes. The tube thicknesses and the angles are what I just mentioned there. So then once they deemed that your chassis is safe and it is good, the roll cage I should say, then they'll come over here to the passenger side of the main hoop, and they will issue you an NHRA seal of approval. And they will date stamp this, and they will stamp how fast you're able to go. And if there's a certain weight limit that you have to be for like the faster certifications, they'll punch that out. But as you can see here, mine is just an 850 cert cage, so I'm good to 535, and I won't have to get this done again until February of 2026. So not too much that goes into the certification on one of these, but all of the things that I did mention are very important, because if any of that is wrong, they will fail you. So you want to make sure that you read the NHRA book for the 850 cage. Make sure that you build it correctly so you don't end up having to cut it all out and redo it. Some of the things beyond the chassis cert, like when you actually go to race the truck with a sanctioned body, anywhere that your head can contact a tube has to have an SFI padding, an SFI certified padding around it, so that way if your head did end up contacting a tube during a crash, you would have some padding there to protect you. A good rule of thumb is to always have 2 inches of a minimum between your head and any tube. The way that my truck is built, like from Dodge, there's not much room towards the main hoop. The seat has to be pretty much as far over as it can possibly be. So my head is pretty close to that SFI pad on that top tube there. And so that's why I actually have a new seat for this, that I'll be doing a video talking about that soon, to help better protect me in the event of an accident. But essentially, those are the main things that you guys need to know about 850 cert cages and getting them certified. All right, so there's your rundown on 850 cert chassis what you need to do to get those things certifiable. One thing that I did not touch on, or if I did not explain it well enough, is none of the tubes can just land to sheet metal. They have to go to the frame. So on a truck where we have a full frame, they have to go to the frame rails, and if they don't go directly to the frame rail, they have to go there via an outrigger. So you can't weld anything to any sheet metal at all. So that's important. You don't want to build one of these cages, put a lot of time, money, and effort into it, and then it ends up failing. You got to cut it back out and restart. So little bit different than what I normally put out there, but I had to get that done today, and I thought that that's something that I've really never seen a lot of topics on, so just wanted to take a minute to make a little video about it for you guys. So thanks guys for watching. Like always, if you're new here, click the subscribe button, and we'll catch you next time.